Good morning and welcome to our daily word. This morning it's Thursday morning, sunny, chilly Thursday morning, as we gather together around our daily word and our scripture that is chosen for today. We are in the season of Lent, of course, and we continue our journey together towards the cross and, of course, Resurrection Sunday. So hopefully you'll plan on joining us Sunday morning for our Sunday in Lent. And for our ongoing discussion, we are going to hear Jesus clear the temple this week and what that means for us and why Jesus is angry. But I think more importantly, what I'm going to talk about, my plan is, what I'm going to talk about on Sunday is why does Jesus clear the temple? And I think he does that because he wants things that get in the way, that get in our way, to be out of the way. And we're going to talk about the things that get in our way of what it means to be Christian or what it means to follow Christ, what it means to believe what Jesus has to say, or what it means even to be the church. What's in our way? And we're going to talk about that on Sunday morning. So last night we had a great Lent Wednesday night. Lots of great food. If you've seen the pictures on our church website or church page here, lots of good food and great conversation. There were 30 of us gathered last night on a Wednesday night. I think that's pretty cool. And so, and that's every Wednesday. So you're welcome to join us on Wednesday nights as well. Today is day number 870, and it's from Luke 24, verse 32. And I chose this because it's something I alluded to last night during our Lent Wednesday night when we were having this conversation. And so it's part of the conversation on the road to Emmaus. And this verse for us this morning says this: They asked each other, were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us? Now, the road to Emmaus wasn't particularly dangerous. It's not a hard or scary journey, this road to Emmaus. Actually, the journey, is pretty straightforward, or so it seemed. Until, of course, a stranger asked to join their company. Can I walk along as you're headed? And of course, they said yes. And what ensued began as an ordinary conversation about the current events. They didn't talk about the weather, they talked about the news. And the two disciples were shocked that this stranger hadn't heard about the crucifixion and the resurrection and all that took place and all the scandal around it, the empty tomb, and all the conversation that the disciples were sharing and the women who went to the tomb. This stranger had an interesting twist on the events that had happened as they listened. And I think they could have ignored him along the way, of course. They could have said, no, we'll just walk by ourselves. I mean, who is the stranger that we should listen to him? But they didn't ignore him, thankfully. They listened to his words, and as they listened, their hearts burned within them as they talked to the stranger. Of course, they realized later that the stranger turns out to be Jesus. It seems that for me in this conversation, so they're making this routine journey on the road to Emmaus, walking along, probably a trip they had made hundreds of times. And they probably too were talking about all the scuttlebutt that was going around about Jesus possibly, being raised from the dead. They were in the midst of their routine activities. And in their routine, in their daily thing that they were doing, Jesus meets them on the road and encounters them, and their hearts burned within them. And I wondered, and we talked a bit about this last night, how I wonder for us, how often during our daily routine, if we think about it, from the time we get up, everything we do till the time we go to bed, our daily routine, How many times are we hearing from God? How many times is Jesus speaking to us in ways that are not readily visible? Perhaps it's through others who Jesus chooses to speak to us. Perhaps it's through circumstances, perhaps it's through nature or our Bible study, all the things that we do in our daily walk. Because those things, those routine things really add up to the truest meaning of our lives. There's nothing more routine than walking a familiar road, right? There's nothing more routine than our daily schedule. I think this reminds us that we don't have to have some amazing thing happen to us. It's in the routine that God meets us where we are. It's in the routine of our lives where we encounter Jesus. And it's then that God calls us to live and act and walk and work in ways that are pleasing to Him, in ways that share love for others, in ways that, as we are talking about on Wednesday nights, in ways that get to our core, what's in our heart, what's in the very center of our lives, and how it is that we live our lives. If we look for circumstances and events, huge things, for the fulfillment of our lives, we'll get disappointed. We'll get disappointed. We get bored. We get disillusioned. If we look for Jesus along the familiar road of our everyday lives, it's then, I think, that our hearts are filled and our lives have the opportunity to be changed. And then we have the opportunity to change the lives of those around us. We talk about it a lot on Wednesday nights and how it begins with us. Our little actions make a difference in the world and how important that is and how we're called to live in that way. All of us gathered last night. I tease people about sitting with somebody else that they didn't sit with last week, and not everybody listens. It's okay. It's all in fun. But I kind of move around and I listen to the conversations and how full they are. And I watch at the end of the night, and I'm the receiver of lots of hugs. I'm the receiver of lots of hugs. I'm the receiver of lots of hugs that end with I love you. I get all those every Wednesday night. It's an incredible thing. And it's in that routine thing that's not really routine. I don't know. I mean, I thought about it last night. I was in the kitchen, folks were cleaning up, and I was just standing there. And I got hug after hug after hug with an I love you and a thank you. And then we got ready to leave, and the last young lady, she says, Jim, I need a hug. And she gave me a hug and told me she loved me. Those routine, gather, eat, share in conversation, clean up the kitchen, it's where we encounter the love of God in the midst of our lives. We shouldn't discount those things. Wherever you are, whoever you encounter today, whoever you have lunch with, or whoever you meet along the way, just know that could be the presence of God with us in a routine way, filling our hearts. Those disciples didn't know it, but afterwards they said, man, hearts are burning within us. So what did they do? They left and went and told the disciples, hey, we saw Jesus. The scuttlebutt's true. He really has risen from the dead. And that's such great news for us. So that's our kind of long-winded version today. Sorry about that, but it's good news, and that's where we're met in our lives by the presence of a living God. So thanks for joining me for our time together. As always, join us Sunday morning for worship. In the meantime, know of God's love that surrounds you. Know of my love for you. And I will see you tomorrow morning here at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.